Good morning, students. How are you all? Fine. Okay, very good. Students, as usually it happens every day, now is the class of economics. Okay, it is the session of economics. And in the previous sessions of economics, we had started the new chapter aggregate demand. Okay, and till now we have discussed the meaning of aggregate demand, the components of aggregate demand, and C component of aggregate demand. In the previous session we also discussed what is called consumption, the types of consumption, consumption function, etc. we have discussed. Okay, so today I would like to proceed the same topic with some of the new concepts. Okay, yesterday's discussion we saw that consumption is of the two types. One is called autonomous consumption and the other is called induced consumption. The autonomous consumption does not depend on the level of income, but induced consumption depends on the level of income. Okay. We also saw that there is a direct relationship between the level of income and the level of consumption, but disproportionately. That means when income increases, consumption also increases, but not in the same way. That is called consumption function. So, in algebraic form, we write consumption function as C is the function of Y. And this function in fact explains the relationship between the level of income and the level of consumption. Okay, and these things we have discussed yesterday. Today we are going to discuss the next topic of the same chapter, that is meaning and types of propensity to consume. Okay, in fact the level of consumption in any depends on the propensity to consume. Okay, so the question arises, what is called propensity to consume? Let us first understand this. You know, students, propensity to consume means the eagerness or willingness or desire of the people to consume different goods and services. Okay, so the propensity to consume in fact shows that how much goods and services are in demand, means the consumers are willing to buy. Okay, if higher is the propensity to consume, that means higher is the desire of consumption of the people, then higher will be consumption demand in the economy, leading to higher level of aggregate demand, as C is the major component of aggregate demand. So if C rises, automatically aggregate demand will rise. And if the people are willing to consume less of goods and services, then it shows what? It shows low propensity to consume. And if there is low propensity to consume, then there will be low level of consumption, leading to low level of aggregate demand. Okay, so since C is the major component of aggregate demand, therefore it is important to increase consumption demand in the economy in order to increase aggregate demand, as the level of income and employment in an economy depends on the level of aggregate demand. Okay, now how this propensity to consume can be measured? In quantitative terms, I mean numerically. You know, students, the propensity to consume of the people can be measured in terms of the money to be spent for consumption. That means the proportion of the income of the people that is spent on consumption shows propensity to consume. Okay, if the people are spending larger proportion of their income on consumption, then it shows high propensity to consume. And if the people are spending a smaller proportion of their income on consumption, then it shows lower propensity to consume. Okay, so in order to ensure continuous and rapid growth in the economy, it is important to boost up the propensity to consume of the people. Okay, so till now it is clear that the ratio, the proportion of the people that is spent on consumption of goods and services shows propensity to consume, or it is called propensity to consume. Clear now? Okay. You know, students, this propensity to consume is measured in two terms, or you can say there are two types of propensity to consume called average propensity to consume and marginal propensity to consume. Let us discuss them respectively. Let us first understand what is called average propensity to consume. Okay, it is the average level of consumption at a given level of income. Numerically, you can say average propensity to consume, or APC, is equal to C by Y. What is C here? C is the consumption. What is Y here? Y is the income. Okay. Certainly, if the level of consumption, suppose it is of 80 crore, is divided by the level of income, that is Y, and suppose it is 100 crore, and if you find out the value of APC, then it will be 80 by 100 is equal to 0.8 crore. That means the average propensity to consume of the people is 0.8%. It shows that 80% of the income the people are spending on consumption and 20% they are saving. Okay. Now, what will be the value of APC? It depends on the level of consumption. It may be equal to 0, or it may be equal to 1, it may be greater than 1, or it may be less than 1, or it may be less than 1. If the level of consumption is just equal to level of income, that means if the value of C is equal to the value of Y, then the value of APC will be equal to 1. Okay. If the level of consumption is higher than the level of income, that means if the value of C is greater than the value of Y, then the value of APC will be greater than 1. Okay. And if the level of consumption is less than the level of income, that means if the value of C is greater than the value of Y, then the value of APC will be less than 1. Okay. So the value of APC mainly depends on the level of consumption. Right? Higher is the level of consumption, higher will be value of APC, and lower is the level of consumption, the lower will be the value of APC. However, it has been observed that the value of APC normally happens to be less than 1 because the people do not spend their entire income, rather they spend a part of their income on consumption and remaining part they like to save. So normally the value of APC happens to be less than 1, but it may be more than 1 or less than 1 also, in what circumstances we have discussed. Okay, if you draw APC curve through a diagram, through a graph, by keeping the level of income along x-axis and the level of consumption along y-axis, then you will find that the APC curve is positively sloped, that means moving in upward direction from left to right. Okay, that shows if the level of income increases, the level of consumption will increase, and accordingly the value of APC will also rise, but it will be less than 1, because as much is the increase in the level of income, the same increase will not be there in the level of consumption. Okay, so APC curve will be positively sloped. Clear? The second important type of propensity to consume is called marginal propensity to consume. Okay, what about this marginal propensity to consume? It shows the change in level of consumption in response to the change in level of income, or you can say the proportionate change in consumption due to the proportionate change in income is called marginal propensity to consume. Or you can say additional increase in consumption due to additional increase in income is called marginal propensity to consume. Okay, this marginal propensity to consume can be expressed numerically also. How? MPC, that is the short form of marginal propensity to consume. So MPC can be expressed as delta C by delta Y. Okay, delta, what is delta here? Delta here denotes the change. So when we say delta C, that means change in consumption, divided by what? Delta Y. What is delta here? Delta is change. What is Y here? Y is income. It means when delta C, that means change in consumption, is divided by delta Y, that is change in income, then you get the value of marginal propensity to consume, or it is called MPC. Okay, you know students, certainly if income increases, consumption increases, and if the change in income occurs, the change in consumption occurs. So we measure in fact the value of MPC to know exact the relationship between increased income and the increased consumption. And generally the value of MPC happens to be less than 1. Why? Because the entire income, entire new income which has increased will not be spent by the consumers on consumption, rather a part of it will be saved by them. Okay, so there is no equal change in consumption in response to any change in income. Thus the value of MPC will be less than 1, and normally it remains constant throughout. Okay, if you draw MPC curve, then how will be this curve? This curve will also be moving in upward direction from left to right. Okay, that means it will have a positive slope. Okay, so till now we have discussed what is called propensity to consume, what is average propensity to consume, what is marginal propensity to consume. Okay, we have discussed. So till now we have discussed the C component of aggregate demand in much detail. Okay, the behavior of aggregate demand depends on the behavior of its C component. So this thing we will discuss later on. Now let us proceed with the next major component of aggregate demand, and that is I. Already we have seen aggregate demand AD is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus A. The G component and X minus M component have been sublimed, means they are not being considered under theoretical analysis of microeconomics. We are considering only the two components of aggregate demand, and they are the C component means consumption and the I component, that is investment. Okay. Now let us discuss about investment demand. Who makes investment demand? The producers, or you can say the entire producing sector of the economy makes investment demand. Then what do you mean by investment demand? You can define it as the demand for goods and services by different producing units to produce other goods and services during production process. Means whatever they purchase to ensure production will be called as the demand for investment or investment demand. Okay. So any expenditure by the producers on purchase of assets, whether it is fixed asset or it is current asset, is considered as or is showing the investment demand of an economy. Okay. So if there is increase in investment demand, that means there is increase in the demand of goods like machines, tools, equipments, or the inventories, materials, etc. by the producers. Okay, this is the investment demand. And this investment demand is measured in terms of the expenditure made by different producers on purchase of these assets, fixed as well as current assets. Okay, since every increase in investment demand leads to increase in the stock of capital or in the stock of assets of the economy, so you can say investment demand also implies the rate of capital formation, and capital formation is considered to be key to economic development. As much as higher is the investment demand, higher will be the level of employment, higher will be the level of income, higher will be the level of aggregate demand, and the economy will progress in positive direction. Okay, so it is called investment demand, right? I think it is clear to you all what is called investment demand. Okay, you know students, this investment in fact is of the two types. One is called autonomous investment and the other is called induced investment. Let us discuss them one by one. Autonomous investment means that level of investment which does not depend on the level of income. It means investment demand, autonomous investment demand is irrespective of the income. Okay, that is why it is called autonomous. It is not related to income. And you may ask me, who makes this autonomous investment? Then generally this investment, this autonomous investment is made by the government for public utility, public development works, public utility services, and it remains constant in the short run. Okay, mind, Autonomous investment is the investment basically by the government sector on public development activities, and it remains constant in the short run. It does not depend on the level of income. Okay, if you draw the graph of autonomous investment demand, then it will be parallel to x-axis. If you keep the level of income along x-axis and the investment along y-axis, then and if you correlate them, then you will find that the curve is a straight line parallel to x-axis. Okay, this is all about autonomous investment. That is a major part of investment. Okay, investment demand. The second important investment is called induced investment. Okay, this investment basically is made by the producers, private sector producers who run their enterprises to earn profit. Okay, so when the producers, different producing units of the private sector make investment, then it is called induced investment. And this investment is depending on the level of income. Usually higher is the level of income, higher will be induced investment demand, and lower is the level of income, lower will be induced investment. Okay, why? It is profit oriented. It depends on the possibilities of profit to be earned by the firm, by the producing unit. This is called induced investment. If you draw the induced investment curve by keeping the level of income along x-axis and the level of investment along y-axis, then you will find that induced investment curve is also positively sloped, moving in upward direction from left to right because of the positive relationship between the level of income and the level of investment. Okay, and you know, students, from the economy's point of view, the level of this induced investment is very important as it constitutes the most important component of aggregate demand. Therefore, the volume of aggregate demand directly depends on the volume of consumption demand as well as the volume of basically induced investment demand. Okay, so till now we have discussed about the meaning and types of investment demand, and in tomorrow's session I would like to discuss different factors affecting investment demand in the economy and other related topics. Okay, so I would like to say sorry for today and see you tomorrow. Thank you.